Recent rumors involving a famous defensive lineman and a prominent quarterback may signal difficulties for a football team based in Pittsburgh. Before we dive deeper into the latest speculations about an athlete and his contractual situation, take a moment to reflect on your current level of concern regarding the team. With the circumstances surrounding both players still unresolved, how worried are you about the team in 2025? Evaluate your anxiety on a scale from 1, indicating no concern, to 10, which suggests a state of total panic. I'm curious to know your thoughts in the comments as we begin our discussion. Let's start by discussing what one of the players revealed in his Instagram story yesterday. We had already covered this in a video when it was initially posted, but now we have additional information. He shared an image of himself with an expression of discontent while making a gesture of farewell, which led many to speculate whether this suggests retirement, a trade request, or dissatisfaction with the ongoing contract negotiations with the team. One point I made before, and I'll reiterate now, is that he doesn't post without a clear purpose. This image wasn't chosen to present him in a favorable light, as there are countless other photos he could have selected that would show him in a more positive way, rather than one where he appears dissatisfied. Recently, new information has surfaced pointing to a player's dissatisfaction, which he expressed in a post on Instagram. It's crucial to approach this situation carefully, but the shared content might offer clues about what's going on. The athlete mentioned a rumor he heard regarding a possible contract renewal from the club, but with an amount lower than what was proposed to another player. This revelation was not well received by him, and I can confidently say I share his view. The origin of this rumor might be linked to a previous post suggesting the team had interest in keeping him, indicating that the new contract would be lower than the amount another teammate received, which was set at $40 million per season, an amount agreed upon with his team during this period. This athlete continues to perform at a high level, but is approaching 31 years old and nearing the end of his current contract. It's unlikely that he will secure a more favorable deal than other players, but the expectation is that any renewal will surpass the contract of another teammate, which stands at $35,600,000 per season. If the released information is accurate and the athlete hasn't accepted this offer, it could suggest that he's aiming for a figure closer to the previously mentioned amount, $40 million per season in his next contract, should he decide to stay with the team. This amount is certainly substantial. When we evaluate the contracts of the highest-paid athletes in their positions, it's possible that he's aiming for these figures in his new negotiation. The teammate in question received $40 million per season, while another player, a few weeks later, secured the highest contract in history for a non-quarterback position, totaling $40,100,000 per season. Therefore, it's quite feasible that the athlete is trying to become the highest-paid edge rusher or even the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history in order to continue his career with the team. The post he made on his social media could be seen as a strategy to stir the negotiations and draw attention to his current situation. He aims to become the highest-paid pass rusher or perhaps the highest-paid non-quarterback in professional football, hoping to stay in Pittsburgh. His decision to share that image on social media indicates that he may be trying to move the negotiations along. It's understandable that he aspires to this. Over the past few years, he's been one of, if not the most effective pass rushers in football. At this stage in his career, he's a recurring candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, year after year. It's easy to see why he believes he deserves to be the highest-paid defender and the most valued non-quarterback in football. It would be surprising if he said, "You know what? I love the Steelers. I'll sign for $36 million annually and accept a small discount, given the circumstances." That would be incredible, but the reality is that the market has already set $40 million with a position mate, and he certainly has pride his worth. As for the value he expects in his contract, he considers himself the best defensive player in football and likely believes he's the most valuable non-quarterback in the league. It's not fair to criticize him for wanting compensation that matches his personal evaluation. As for whether the Steelers would be willing to pay this amount, it's a significant figure, but if the team truly aims to win and achieve immediate success, I personally would invest to ensure this player stays in Pittsburgh. The reason for this decision is that he is undoubtedly the team's most valuable player. Looking at his performance over the last 4 years, He's had some injuries, but when he's healthy, his production is remarkable. He's not just an exceptional quarterback hunter, but also a true artist at getting sacks, being one of the most versatile edge defenders who can win in multiple ways. Furthermore, he excels at defending against the run, penetrating the backfield, and making tackles for loss, contributing significant plays. Since his entry into the league, he leads in forced fumbles by a considerable margin, consistently generating turnovers. Last season, he forced 6 fumbles. To understand this player's impact on the team, just look at the discrepancy in the team's performance, registering 1 win and 10 losses in games he didn't play. The team's offensive struggles in recent times, still competing for the playoffs, highlight the role of the defense in keeping them relevant. His ability to generate turnovers, secure sacks, and shut down opposing offenses underscores his impact on the game. He is unquestionably the most valuable player the franchise has had in years, and this continues to be true. It's clear that he is the most crucial member of the team, a fact that will be reiterated. With the team possibly preparing for a more affordable contract with a quarterback, it seems they are positioning themselves to bring in a younger player to develop under his leadership. This rookie quarterback would be on a more economical deal, granting the team some financial flexibility to invest in a top-tier defender like him. If the franchise is genuinely committed to competing and achieving success before another key player retires in 2 years, keeping him is vital. It's crucial to reward him fairly for his contributions. This player wields considerable influence in the negotiations, aware of his worth. He could address the management with a clear message that they can either meet his demands or risk a trade, knowing they prefer to avoid that alternative. Therefore, he clearly holds the upper hand in the talks, regardless of personal opinions on the situation. He has the advantage in this circumstance, and he is fully aware of it. He knows he can approach management and say they can either meet his salary demands or opt for a trade, and he understands that they'd rather avoid that path. Thus, it's evident that he has strong negotiating power in these talks. Regardless of your opinion on the matter or how you view paying a pass rusher over $40 million per season, it seems the organization is determined to keep him long-term. In the end, he will receive the compensation he believes is fair. So, I leave you with this question. Does he truly deserve this amount, surpassing $40 million per season, to be the team's premier pass rusher? Type P if you would accept paying that amount, or T if you would prefer to see him traded for draft picks and start fresh at the pass rusher position. This will be the question for today's discussion. Soon, I'll mention a brand that stands out. In the meantime, don't forget to check out the pinned comment and answer the proposed question. This brand is famous for its headphones, and I recall the excitement of starting your favorite game for the first time, the late-night marathons, the thrilling victories, and the vibrant atmosphere of friends gathering. Playing wasn't just a hobby. It was an immersive experience, and having the right headphones made all the difference. This brand is bringing back that nostalgia with a model of headphones that evokes the golden age of gaming, but now with richer audio, immersive surround sound, and an impressive 80-hour battery life. Say goodbye to mics with noise and communication failures. Just continuous, authentic gaming as you remember, but enhanced. For a limited time, you can get a 10% discount on your entire purchase by using a special code on the website. Don't miss this opportunity. Stay comfortable and elevate your gaming experience with this offer. I own a pair of these headphones, in fact, a specific model that stays here in my apartment, and whenever I get a moment, I try to escape the drama surrounding a particular player, but we'll talk about that soon. I put on my headphones and jump into an online game of football with friends. I really enjoy it. I love competing with them. I enjoy winning daily, and, of course, I'm playing with a specific team. So, you should visit the website and use the code for the discount. After purchasing, they'll ask where you heard about the brand, and it's important to support our show. Have the most immersive gaming experience today. Now, let's address the situation with a player where a new rumor emerged. A source mentioned that the wait for a decision created a peculiar atmosphere within the organization as they await the decision of a prominent player. What has been reported is that, according to a source close to the situation, the atmosphere is somewhat strange. The recurring joke is about who the next quarterback will be. I wouldn't say there's panic, but the current quarterback situation is clear. And the question everyone has now is, what's causing the delay? It seems he has some options. Choose the team, opt for retirement, or wait for a better opportunity later. And in the end, how long will the team be willing to wait for a decision? Because at some point, the longer they wait, there are three possible alternatives. The Pittsburgh football team may decide to choose a quarterback, consider retirement, or wait for a better chance later in the season. The central issue is how long the team is willing to wait to make a decision. As the days pass, it seems the uncertainty about the possibility of a player taking over the quarterback position for Pittsburgh grows. It's been a month since the start of the signing period, and 2 weeks since a quarterback signed with the team, which somewhat took that team out of the running. In the last 2 weeks, the options have been quite limited, and there's still no definitive choice regarding the desire to be the starting quarterback. With only 2 weeks left until the NFL draft, questions are being raised about the timelines the team may set, indicating the need to make a decision by a specific date or move forward. A possible deadline could be April 21st, a Monday that marks the beginning of the team's voluntary workouts. According to the information gathered, many players are starting to show signs of impatience, expressing the desire to resolve the quarterback situation, as they're tired of waiting. Furthermore, the team's organized activities are set to begin in 10 days, and it would be ideal to have the quarterback's presence. The NFL draft starts on April 24th, and it would be preferable to have the contract signed before that event. However, the wait could extend past the draft. Perhaps the intention is to avoid the team selecting a quarterback in the first round or evaluate the entire class of players before making a final decision. After that, there will be a considerable break until June 10th, when the first mandatory minicamp is held, followed by training at the end of July. During the NFL owners' meetings, there was a willingness to potentially wait until the start of training to bring the quarterback into the roster. Regarding these dates, it's clear that the expectation, from the fans' point of view, is that this happens sooner rather than later, ideally before the voluntary workouts begin, because the goal is to ensure that the new quarterback is committed to building chemistry with the receivers and the offensive coordinator, so everything works smoothly for the upcoming season. However, at this moment, there may be an expectation related to the draft, since there is clearly not enough information for a definitive decision. Therefore, if there's real interest in playing for Pittsburgh and the lack of sufficient data to decide, the rest of the offseason to learn more about the team will be during the draft, when new players may be integrated into the roster. If I were in a position to make decisions, I would set a clear deadline right after the draft, indicating that this is the available time for a response, without prolonging the wait for other opportunities. The approach would be straightforward. The goal is to gather everyone who wants to be committed to the team and its development. We won't stay quiet throughout the entire offseason while looking for another opportunity elsewhere, and then the person joins us just before training starts because of lack of options. That definitely isn't the strategy we'll adopt here. A player should show interest in being with us, eager to collaborate with new teammates, and ready to contribute to building something meaningful, or else they shouldn't be here. And that's simple as that. There's a genuine expectation that a player will be with us, signed and ready for voluntary activities on April 28th, fully involved in the off-season program. It's essential to ensure the offense is in the best possible shape as we prepare for the 2025 season. However, what will not be accepted, and what would be a true embarrassment for the organization, is if it becomes widely known that a player is looking for a chance to join another team throughout the off-season, waiting for an injury or opportunity to arise elsewhere. And just before training begins, they might say, well, I have no other option, so I'll go to this team. Just think about the humiliation that would be for the organization. The NFL draft is the moment that ends the off-season talent acquisition phase. Once that point is reached, a final notice will be issued, stating, all right, you have a deadline here. If you don't decide and don't want to play, fine, we can move on. It's likely we'll pick a quarterback early in the NFL draft. It's essential to have clarity on who the starting quarterback will be in 2025. If it's not the player in question, you can be sure that a quarterback will be selected early in the draft. It might not necessarily be in the first round. Perhaps there's a trade that allows for an additional pick on day 2, which could then be used for a quarterback. However, this is certainly a viable option, especially if the player isn't in the roster. Teams will likely select a quarterback early in the NFL draft. This may not happen in the first round. They could make a trade to secure an additional pick on day 2, which could be used on a quarterback. However, this is definitely a viable option, especially if the player is not part of the roster. There are 4 quarterbacks that stand out for the first round. One standout who might be available if he falls, another frequently linked to this team in recent drafts, a Louisville prospect who's garnered significant interest, and one more who received an invitation to this year's NFL draft. They certainly seem to be interested in them as well. Among these 4 candidates, the trend would be to make a trade to select the Louisville player. While this may not be the ideal scenario, it's believed that he's more ready to contribute immediately and help a team when compared to the others at this point. There's real potential with this player. He has a strong arm, is agile, can create plays outside the structure, and his footwork and upper body mechanics are highly regarded. He throws with impressive long-distance accuracy, and there's much to admire about him. Therefore, if a trade is made to select him, whether at the end of the first round or the beginning of the second, that would be a preferred pick, assuming the player isn't part of the roster. At this moment, given the waiting time, there's a sense that this might happen after the NFL draft. Predictions about whether the player will sign before the draft are encouraged. There are some concerning rumors about key players at the moment, and there's hope that everything will be resolved positively for all involved. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Just reply with yes or no to finalize this topic. Today, we address some concerns related to players and their current situations. Let's hope everything is resolved positively and these athletes continue with the team, moving forward to the 2025 NFL season. That was the topic for today. If you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing to get more information about the team that's coming your way. Tomorrow, I'll be live streaming for a special Friday show. We'll be discussing some roster changes and analyzing interesting aspects of the recruitment process. So be sure to subscribe for comprehensive updates on the team over the weekend. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Could Kendrick Bourne be the missing piece for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense? The question lingers as whispers of a potential trade or signing begin to swirl around the NFL. Known for his sharp route running and explosive plays, the New England Patriots wide receiver could be just the weapon the Steelers need to add a new dimension to their receiving core. But with his injury history and a newly signed 3-year contract with the Patriots, is a move to Pittsburgh even feasible? Let's dive deeper into this potential game changer. Bourne's talent is undeniable, having shown flashes of brilliance throughout his career, including a standout Week 1 performance in the 2023 season with 6 catches, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns. However, injuries have also played a significant role in his journey, including a torn ACL that sidelined him for part of the 2023 season. While he's been activated from the reserve/PUP list in October 2024, questions about his consistency and injury recovery remain. That said, Pittsburgh's offense has struggled to find a reliable deep threat, and Bourne could be exactly what they need if he stays healthy. While the Steelers have been making moves to bolster their roster, adding Bourne to their lineup could potentially elevate their receiving game to new heights. His veteran experience, combined with his dynamic playing style, would complement Pittsburgh's existing weapons and offer quarterback Kenny Pickett more options to work with downfield. The question remains, will the Steelers take the risk and make a bold move to land Kendrick Bourne, or will his future stay firmly rooted in New England? Stay tuned for more developments on this intriguing possibility. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.